Would you like to make a lot of money on just a small investment? Think investing is difficult? Want to see how a well-known dividend aristocrat turned $5,000 into more than $3 million? Then you have to check out today's video.
He is a best-selling author.
30-year-old Jason Fieber has a plan.
This guy retired at only 33 years old.
I don't know if I know too many people that have accomplished something like that.
He's really kind of a guru when it comes to passive income.
Before I get into today's content, please give us a big thumbs up if you find value in our videos. Helps us to get the word out and grow the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. Successful long-term investing might seem complicated, but here's the truth. It isn't. It's actually a lot more simple than it's made out to be. In all of the feedback I get from investors, one of the most common misperceptions I come across is that you have to look far and wide for great long-term investment ideas. That you have to reinvent the wheel or find some secret gem out there that nobody else knows about. Or that a well-known stock with 20 or 30 years of dividend growth already under its belt has already seen its best days. Well, that's just not true. Dividend aristocrats are perfect examples of why it's not true. These are stocks that have increased their dividends for 25 or more consecutive years. Some of these stocks have been increasing their dividends for 50 or more straight years. And even 20 or 30 years ago, when these stocks had already been increasing their dividends for decades, many were still great long-term investments. Today, I'm gonna tell you about a dividend aristocrat that would have turned a single $5,000 investment into $3.2 million. Ready? Let's dig in. The stock I'm gonna tell you about would have turned only $5,000 into $3.2 million. That's right. One single $5,000 investment, then you never do anything again, and you end up with $3.2 million. Sounds too good to be true? It's not. You might be thinking that this stock must have been some under-the-radar name that nobody knew about, or you had to invest in it 50 years ago, way before it was a dividend aristocrat. Well, you would be wrong to think any of that. The stock in question is Lowe's Companies Inc., stock ticker LOW. This stock is a king among aristocrats. It's been increasing its dividend for 59 consecutive years. That time frame spans wars, recessions, terrorist attacks, and even a recent pandemic. But Lowe's kept on pumping out their growing dividend. That's the kind of resiliency you want in your investments. Lowe's isn't an under-the-radar name. It's a well-known company. This stock turned $5,000 into more than $3 million? Yep. Again, even decades into growth, a company can have decades upon decades more to come. The world isn't coming to an end, guys. Just think of where the world will be in 2100. More people buying more products and or services at much higher prices than today. The best days for a lot of companies aren't behind them, they're ahead of them. Want some details into how this happened? Here we go. So if you had invested only $5,000 into Lowe's in 1991, that's 30 years ago, that $5,000 would have compounded at an annual rate of 24.1% and turned that single $5,000 investment into more than $3 million. But 30 years ago? That's not fair. That must have been way before this was a well-known stock, right? Nope, not true. Lowe's had already hit 25 consecutive years of dividend raises in 1987. This stock already had almost 30 consecutive years of dividend raises in 1991. For example, General Dynamics, stock ticker GD, has 30 consecutive years of dividend raises right now. And General Dynamics is a well-known dividend aristocrat today. Lowe's was already a pretty big business back in 1991. They had over 300 stores at that time. For another comparison, Costco Wholesale Corporation, stock ticker COST, has less than 600 warehouses in the USA right now. And it's not like anyone's never heard of Costco. You don't need to search far and wide for great long-term investment ideas. Many are right under your nose. Could be the products and or services you use every day. Think about the stores you shop at, the food you eat, the energy you use, and the electronics you're using to watch this very video. High quality dividend growth stocks get in their position because they're so great. You cannot rack up a multi-decade track record of paying out ever larger dividends by running a poor business. That's not how it works. You have to run a wonderful business that's providing the products and or services the world demands in order to produce the reliable rising profits necessary to fund reliable rising dividends. Could Lowe's perform at an amazing level yet again over the next 30 years? Why not? As we pointed out in a recent video, Lowe's just increased their dividend by more than 33%. Almost 60 years into dividend growth, they pull that off. If that doesn't scream, we're still doing amazing all of these years later, I'm not sure what will. Maybe you can find a hidden gem by looking under 1,000 rocks, but just know that you don't necessarily have to do that. A lot of high quality dividend growth stocks staring at you in the face can and often do make for excellent long-term investments. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give us a like if you did, and let us know in the comments what you think about this Dividend Aristocrat turning $5,000 into more than $3 million. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on new content. Also take a look at the description box below for some important links, including the link to my personal stock portfolio. This six-figure portfolio, which I call the Fire Fund, generates enough passive dividend income for me to live off of. It allowed me to retire in my early 30s. I've made my portfolio entirely accessible over at Patreon, and I also post alerts there whenever I buy or sell a stock. I put my money where my mouth is, and I'm often invested in the same high quality dividend growth stocks that I make videos on. Over the years, I've heard from thousands of investors who have been profiting from many of the same exact stocks that I own. So if you think this is something that you could benefit from as well, check the link in the description to see my portfolio and start getting my buy and sell alert. I'll see you next time.